I don't know. It might not be working.
Go ahead.
Recording in progress. So now it's official.
I don't know how we can
So,
tell
yeah,
that.
what we will do, so the story that we will try to unpack is the story of a mother, a father, and two brothers. So who are those, give me the name of the mother, the mother, the father, and two brothers. What are those names? What is it? Of course, Adam and Eve, you're always correct. There's nothing wrong, like saying Jesus. So, yeah, who are those? Isaac? Isaac, who else? Rebecca and? Esau and Jacob. Again, so Isaac, Rebecca, Esau, and Jacob. And in this order, Isaac, Rebecca, Esau, and Jacob. Okay, perfect. So this is the story, what the story is about. And so we all know what happened to Isaac. So now what we will do, we will try to, so Isaac, he got married, and how old was Isaac, by the way, when he got married? 40, exactly. So that is a very important note. 40 years old. So he was 40 years old. So what we will try to do today, we will see three elements. Number one, we will talk about impact of family dynamics, the impact, not just on some elements, but it's on impact of family dynamics on generations and nations. So impact your family dynamics on generations and nations. So that is one. Number two, it's impact of choices. The impact of choices, and then is there hope? So this is basically how we will try to talk about it. And the main question that I would like us to wrestle with, this is the question: how our actions and character, or character building or character development, impact generations and nations. Okay, so that is the main question that we will need to wrestle with. Because this is the story will reveal something that will hopefully answer this question. So, and let me also begin with these three questions. So three questions, and try to take them as personal questions. How prepared are you personally? Say your name. How prepared am I to think about the challenging aspects of our personal family history or family challenges? To think. How ready are we to think about those elements? So this is one question. Are we ready to think about our personal history challenges, family history challenges? Number two, how prepared are we to talk about our personal family history or challenges or serious questions? To talk, to open up about our personal elements. And then here's the last question. How prepared are we to let the world know about our personal history or family history? How prepared are we to open up to the world, the wardrobe, and the wardrobe is full of wow. How prepared are we to talk about how I'm breaking the heart of my children? How prepared are we to talk about the fact how I'm breaking the heart of my wife? How prepared are we to talk about the fact, the mistakes that I make in the family and see and it hurts? Are we prepared to let the world know about it? No. So that's right. So number one, how prepared are we to think? Even to think. Do we even think about those things? And it gives chills when we think about it. Are we prepared to talk even to the loved ones? Especially to the loved ones. Are we prepared to let the world know that I failed again? So this is the story that we will unpack today. And the world knows this story. It's the story to the world. In the bestseller that was sold more than any other book. Here it is. Here is the story, not just one family, but all families. And it starts with a liar. And another liar. And deceit, and dysfunction, and disbalance. All those things. But there is hope.
Amen. Yes.
Okay. So this is what we will talk about. So could somebody read verses, so we'll start with Genesis chapter 25. Genesis chapter 25 verses 19, and then we will read from 19 all the way, for now it's just 19 and to 22. So who would like to, yeah, please.
This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel the Aramean from Paddan Aram, and sister of Laban the Aramean.
Yeah, and then,
Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answers his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord.
okay. So basically it's just that, you see, this is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. Why it is critical? Who is Abraham? Yeah, the Abraham, which is Ab means father. So he's the father of nations, not just one nation, not just one religion, not just one nation, not just one, but nations already. So it's just nations. So Abraham, so son of, so here's his son Isaac. So he's the father of Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old. Rebekah. So this is the story now. So look what happens here. So what is the family dynamic? So what is happening? So what is happening with Rebekah? What is their dream? To have children. Yeah, their dream is to have children. And what is happening? Rebekah doesn't have a child. So and he is 40, probably 5-7 years old at this time. So Isaac, and then so look what happens. What Isaac does. What did he do? He prays on behalf of. So what is the lesson that we can learn right from the very beginning? What is that lesson?
Pray for themselves.
So what is it? What is the lesson? What is the lesson? 24? So pray on behalf of. So now here is the question. Does it mean that the prayer of Isaac is more powerful because he's a male than the prayer of Rebekah?
No.
Wow. Because look, Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf, and the Lord answered his prayer. Before that, the prayer was not answered. So that means that the prayers of males are more powerful. So that's why we probably have pastors. So that's why you pastors. Does it mean that? Tomatoes and eggs. Why are they flying at me? So, but look, no, absolutely not. Why? Because look what happens next. So Isaac prayed because he seems just Lord wants the husbands also to be involved. Because why are you on the sideline? Come on, just do something. Because you're always just not doing much at all. So look what happens here. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. And look what happens next. The babies, what happens? What does it mean? So what is it? Yes. So imagine what is happening within her womb. So what is happening? So she, whoa, I didn't expect that. So imagine, this is serious. Is it possible? How many of you have had twins? So tell me, like, is it possible at all? Like, physiologically, is it possible?
Oh, my goodness. And so like they were, I mean, it hurts. That just sounds normal.
You see? Wow. Okay, so you see that there's a normal process, but probably like she didn't expect it because it was the first time that she had twins. So she's like, whoa. So let me stop. Look what she does. What did she do? Because you see, she doesn't even need to pray. She talks to the Lord. You see how powerful this is? So she's like, Lord, come on, I just, like, it's not even a prayer. So Isaac needed to pray, and look what happens here. She just says, Lord, I'm in conversation with you. Look what happens next. This is not it. Look what happens next. Look what happens next. The Lord talks back. So this is how powerful females are. I'm not exaggerating. And if you read the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy, you will see that who actually gives all the advices to Abraham? Who gives advice to Adam? Who gives advice to Isaac? Who gives advice to Esau? Who gives it to everyone? You will see it in this passage. Who rules the world? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. Because she talks to the Lord, and the Lord says, "Yes, ma'am, I will perform right away." So this is how serious it is. But look what happens next. So she inquires. She just inquires, and then can somebody read this passage?
The Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger.
Okay, so what are a few things that you see right from this passage? So number one, the Lord immediately responds to this inquiry of a woman when she what is happening? Immediate response. The Lord immediately says, "This is what is happening." So what is happening? Yes.
The Lord explained why there was so much going on in her uterus. They didn't have ultrasound in those days. She probably didn't know she had twins. The Lord said there's 2 nations in your womb.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did she know that she was expecting twins? Absolutely not. That is such an important point because today in this world, we don't even think about those things anymore because we know that she was expecting twins, but she didn't. Absolutely didn't. Wow, that is very critical point. So she realized that there is not just one, but 2. So this is one. What else? What else do we see? So it's not just two babies are in your womb. What is it? What exactly the Lord is saying? 2 nations. 2 nations. So now this is very important. How often do we think about our children as future nations, future generations, future of the world? It's the future of the world. So do we think about those things? Or do we usually think that you're just one of additional, like you're just addition to the world? No, they're not an addition. They are the future world. They are the future generation. So they are the future nations. So, and this is what the book of Genesis constantly reminds us of. Your life is the life of your children. So what you do, your impact is the impact on future generations. Undeniably. So look what happens next. Okay, and then of course, so here is the prophecy as well. So what is the prophecy? What is the prophecy? So what is the prophecy? The older will serve the younger. So unpack it just very briefly. So what does it mean to you? Like what does it mean? So because you placed us in that context by saying that they didn't have ultrasound at that time. It's a very important point. What else would be like off?
Well, it explains so much about what happens in the story. Why Rebecca, she knew this because the Lord had told her, and that's why she engaged in the deceit, unfortunately.
Okay. So this is very.
Because it looked like God wasn't going to intervene, and Jacob was going to bless. As we'll come to it. But
Yeah.
she felt like she needed to intervene.
Exactly. So the prophecy was in her mind now. The older will serve the younger. Okay.
Doesn't that give her permission for the deceit?
So we'll see. We will see. Permission for the deceit. prophecy. I follow the Bible, so I won't be deceived. Yeah, okay.
Well, actually, there's a history of deceiving the whole family with, Abraham deceiving Abimelech, Isaac
So
deceiving
that-
Abimelech.
Is it Abraham or is it by Sarah helped him to?
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone did, so it's,
Yeah.
It's a culture.
yeah.
Okay, it's the culture of deceit. Okay, we'll unpack it, okay, this is good, keep this in mind, okay, so let's move to the next passage. So what I want us to see from this, so number one is just, whenever we think about our children, think about what, not just the child, but who is the child? That child is the future generation, the father of all nations, just as you are, just as you're.
Well, the first line too, though, is Esau's descendants were always stronger than Jacob's. The Edomites were much more warlike and stronger in war than Jacob's descendants were. Even though that they ended up serving.
Yeah. And what is, so now here's a bomb, atomic bomb, ready? Ready, Edomites. So Esau, out of Esau, Edomites went. So it's Edomites, the word Edom means red. So red skin kind of, it's just the nation, red nation kind of, not rednecks, but red. Just, I don't know, I'm not, you see, I'm not an American, like, so that I can say whatever. Nothing lie without me being, after that, put in jail or whatever the baby. So that's like, so in any case, it's the Edomites, so the entire nation, but listen, this is it, so listen carefully. King Herod the Great, the one who rebuilt the temple, the one who was trying to kill Jesus, the one who was one of the greatest kings of Israelites, of Judah, of Jews in the time of Jesus, was an Edomite. His mother was a Jew. So you see how incredible that is? So your nation, and then so basically then we see King Herod, Edomite, and Jesus. The descendant of who? Of Jacob. Here is the descendant of Esau, and here's the descendant of Jacob. And what are they? What is happening there? They are fighting for the throne. Jesus is just a child. He doesn't fight. He's just a child. Joseph is the one who fights for his life. Mary is the one who fights for his life. God speaks to them again, the conversations. And here's another Esau, descendant, who are fighting constantly. So that is basically, like, do you appreciate it? Like this connection? This is it for, see, so that, but this is how important that is. You see, that's why two nations, not just child, not just children, not just child. Okay, let's move to the next one. So let's take a look at their identity now. So when the time has come, so could somebody read this?
When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first came out was red, Edom, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau, or hairy. After this, his brother came out with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob, heel grabber. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them.
Okay, so now 20 years later, after the marriage, then we see, so who is born to them? Who are those two guys? Tell me.
Harry and Hillbrook.
Yeah. They were very descriptive, like you look like a heel grabber. Okay, so this is what your name will be. So you see, it's right from the very beginning, they're given their identity. It's like, this is it. This is what you live with. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name? What is your name?
Wife pleaser.
Okay, so what is it? So just even the name, just say your name. Say your name. So what is the meaning of the name? Okay, so you're the God. So what is your name? So just the name, you see, just the name. Even the name itself carries the weight. That's why even the word, so the word for glory is kavod. Kavod in glory. Kavod is in Hebrew, kavod. But the word kavod means also weight. Weight. So if you come to the store and ask how, like, I would like 2 pounds, like the weight of my apples needs to be 2 kavod, like the weight, kavod of my apples needs to be 2 pounds. Why? Because glory has the weight. So when you expect to receive the glory, your name, the glory of God, the presence of God, it's the weight. So we need to carry that weight, and sometimes it's very difficult to carry the weight, the glory of God. So are we ready to carry the glory of God? Just like here it is. Here is your name. So now you need to carry the promise of your name. So now the hairy and the heel grabber, they have their identity. Let's move to the next one. So we'll look what happens next. Can somebody read the following verse? 27.
The boys grew up and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
Now, so what is happening here?
Favorites.
So elaborate more.
Well, I mean, it started with the message from God that this is, I would want to get that message, that it's just, there's conflict. Because they have selected the child that they love the most, which is a very dangerous affair.
But I have a question. So if you have, let's say, 100% of love, for example, I have 100% of love, and I have 2 children. So what happens? 50% goes to one, and 50% goes to another. No? Because it's how? But 100%, how can you do it? Like, so 100% and 100%, so then you need to have 200%. Sorry?
Fathers have big hearts.
Fathers have big hearts? Fathers have big hearts?
One multiplies, it doesn't divide.
Really? How many of you have children? Okay, so it's basically like the overwhelming majority. So it's so is it possible? Is this possible?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. How do you know?
We see that happen all the time. Favoritism.
Right.
Mother or father love more one child than the other. We call it black sheep.
So why does this happen? Why does this happen? Yeah.
Part of the backstory, which we didn't discuss yet, is that, as they're growing up, the parents are observing what, how their children are living. And one seems to be more, towards God, and the other one seems to be doing whatever he wanted to do. So that makes you, kind of like look at your kids. Oh, you have an idea of.
Yeah. Okay. So let me.
Well, last week we learned that Isaac was a very tender, peace-loving individual, which you would think he would have gravitated more towards Jacob because Jacob seemed to be more like him. It almost makes you wonder, was his alter ego was being lived out in Esau, and he was attracted to what he saw in Esau.
Good point. So let me ask a question. Remember when Rebecca was coming with the servant? Where was he when where was he? Where was he? Where was he? He was in the fields. It says that he was in the desert. He was basically in the open fields. He was in the open fields, what? Meditating. He was on the open fields meditating. And if you see, it's just, so here's a heresy. So that I developed. So it relates to children. So I'm just, so I was writing once and I'm thinking to myself and just listening to one podcast and then think and just why do we love children so much? And then just why do I love my children more than I love anybody else's children? So, but why do I love this child not more than the other child? Because we have 2 daughters, not like this daughter more than the other daughter. But why do I feel more connected to this daughter than to the other daughter? So I'm thinking about it, more connected. And then I feel it's interesting because she resembles me so much. She is the copy of me. So just on so many levels. So it just, and then, so what I see just, but isn't that narcissistic? It's almost like looking at like the pool, narciss. Like I look at the pool and I see my own vision is just, this is so beautiful. I've never seen such a beautiful picture of a human being. And then, oh yeah, it's my child. She's so beautiful, or he's so beautiful because she's just like me. We don't say it, of course. Of course we won't. And we don't even think about it. But this is maybe, just maybe. He's like, he's just like me. I love him. And he likes Four Rivers just as I do. He likes Four Rivers just as I do.
Also, I think the texts kind of reveal a lot of it. So Esau loved that open country. And then it says Isaac, who had a taste for wild game. So they had similar interests, similar passions, and so maybe they spent more time together. Whereas Jacob was more among the tents, where usually women, mothers are, cooking, overseeing the household. So they spent more time together.
And he's a good businessman as well. So we will see that Jacob was a good businessman. So he knew how to negotiate. Sometimes he would fail, but that's okay. It's just that some things wouldn't work. But that is it. So you see the family dynamics is just, we try to connect with those who we usually are comfortable with. But there is a great danger. This is a great danger because only in the eyes of the otherness of the other person can we grow, develop, and improve. Do you hear this? It's the otherness of another person that helps us to grow and improve. If we all only listen to our own political perspectives or whatever that may be, it's a degradation. It's just inevitable degradation. And the same applies to anything, but only when we enter into the dialogue with the other. The same applies to religion. If you're just one religion, it degrades. Look at this, look at those pools where one religion is just one religion. What happens? Fundamentalism, terrorism, and all those kind of things. Why? Because there is no the otherness. We don't appreciate the otherness. So until we do, then it's dysfunctional. So let's move to the next one. Can somebody read 29 and 31?
Once when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country, famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." That is why he was also called Edom, or red. Jacob, the heel grabber, replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I'm about to die," Esau said. "What good is the birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright.
Okay, yeah, so this is it. So what is happening? What do we learn about now the first encounter between the two brothers? Jacob, that he's beyond the heel grabber, and then when they walked out, well, not walked out, but when they appeared from the room. So there is one, and then now we see what do we see here? What do we see? What is this transaction?
Jacob's an opportunist.
So why do you think he's so opportunistic in this perspective? Why do you think he does what he does? Why?
Maybe it's mother.
Yeah, that's right. So who said the mother? Yes, please, yeah.
Well, maybe she'd been telling him all along, sure, he's older, but it's really gonna be you. It's really gonna be you. And so she was basically setting these boys up for confrontation and failure. I mean, it's not not an unusual story. You've got two boys. One with, one's hungry. It's the interaction, but it seems that it makes it more.
Yeah.
Now I think about his word, because it's kind of sure. Just give me thought. Just give me what else is wrong?
And this is a critical point because it's so. Do you think it's a stretch to think that Rebecca was actually telling her son, that this is it, that you're the one.
Isn't life wonderful that most things boil down to a bowl of good food? It is so guttural, it's so human, that if you sift through all the stories, it's all about raw humanity and how weak and feeble we are that a bowl of lentils will tempt us to sell whatever we have that we value.
Esau is not a deep thinker either. If Esau is deep thinker and calculating and know what that right means, he will not be tempted by a bowl of lentils.
Wouldn't he?
He's
Wouldn't
not a
he?
deep thinker, he is not a wise, he is, what do you call it? Immediate gratification
Yeah.
means more to him.
Wow, powerful, powerful, powerful. So one, two, and then three.
Why did he value his birthright? I guess I've never really thought about that, because contextually, that was a big deal then. Why did he say, what good is it to me?
Well, he's not that smart, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. So then 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
So, with the history, was he able to sell it, or was it bestowed on them? So it was something that was gonna come from his father. So would he have been able to sell it if he wanted to?
The birthright is a birthright. You're first. It's no.
Yeah, so it wasn't really sure,
But
it's still gonna be his.
with birthright came also responsibilities.
Right.
So responsibilities I can easily hand off. No problem. But the blessing I will not. So that's why you see that responsibilities and the blessing. Okay.
One of the other differences between the two is Esau wanted immediate gratification. He wasn't one to wait. He's hungry now. I don't care about the son, I just want to eat. But Jacob was a little more thinking in the future. If he could, convince his brother, okay, give me your birthright and I'll give you food. So it's the difference in their personalities. One is immediate gratification. One perhaps is a little more conniving, looks for long-term results.
Very good point. Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say that it seems to me that he conducted himself in such a way that he didn't care about the responsibilities that were in the birthright. And he paved way for Jacob to even want him. But I think if he had treated himself, he had conducted himself in a manner that was responsible. I doubt that Jacob would propose such a, preposterous proposition. I mean, in the talks looks for the birthright.
But you see, what was the personality? What was Esau's personality? He enjoyed the. But no personality. What did he enjoy the most? He enjoyed the fields.
Outdoors.
So outdoors. He was outdoors. He was solitude. He was outdoors. He was enjoying this. The world was his. And now and what is happening in the life of Jacob? Where is he? He's the dance. So the dance, it means also all the sheep, it means the camels, it means business and everything else. So when somebody comes sell me the birthright, of course I will sell it to you. I don't care about the birthright, because birthright, you need to take care of this, of all these household. Homestead. The homestead now needs to be taken care of. And the critical element is, you see, the reality is just bowl of soup is more important. Just like $5 in the pocket is more valuable than 10,000 that could expect in the future. I need to have this now. And this is our nature. That's why if you read Jewish commentaries, Hasidic commentaries, they talk about this story. They don't talk about the story as a historical event. The historical event of course it is a historical event, but they don't care much. In Judaism, rabbis, they don't care much about whether it happened, how it happened. What matters to them is what the story means. What the story means. And this is how they explain it. They say, just as you, all of us, we have two natures within us. What is one nature? Jacob, and another nature, Esau. And both of these natures, one is mind and spirit, and the second one is body. Mind, spirit, and body. And all these natures are what? Are fighting. And the problem is what nature wins? Body.
Most, the one you feed the most.
Exactly.
Excellent.
The one you feed the most wins. So what they say in Judaism, they say, so how do we fight it? This is the question that they ask. How do we fight it? And they say, here is how we fight it. We make a feast. We do make a feast. And when the feast is happening and the guests are eating, I retreat and I enter and read the letter from the Lord. What does it mean? They say that's why we have a Shabbat. Shabbat is the time when we allow our body to enjoy life to the fullest. That's why we have a feast. We have a fillet of fish or whatever that may be. What is it? What is it? What is the name of that? Fish basically dish and meat and everything else and wine on Friday. So let the body flourish. And we would allow our mind to dive deeper into the real matters of spiritual matters in Jacob. So this is how they would interpret it. So that's what it's, so you see, it's just additional interpretation that helps us to see it even more. So because the struggle is real also within us. Now let's move to the next passage. So let's move to so this is where we are in chapter 26. 26, the last, so it's the beginning of the continuation of the story. So the birthright was handed over from Esau to whom? To Jacob. Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot. You want to make comment?
Well, my mind was just wondering, I've wondered sometimes if Esau had been drinking.
Oh, we know that Jacob was really drinking after the wedding. Remember the wedding? Like when Rachel was supposed to Jacob, when he was in Laban's house later, when he fled. He got married, and then somebody appeared to him, and he slept with a woman, and then he woke up. He's like, I didn't expect you to be here. So you're definitely drinking. Jacob was definitely into some of that. Yes. So let's read verse 34 and 35. Genesis 26. Can somebody read this?
When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were the source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah.
So now here is the question. So what is happening here? What is Esau? What is Esau doing? Just like his father. So he's 40 years old. He's like, okay, I know what to do now. And he was supposed to. So marriages in that time were always arranged by whom? By the father. By the father. So just they were not white, but still. So by the father. So you see, they were supposed to arrange by the father. And now, but what he does, he marries on his own. Here's the birthright. You were supposed to be married first. Why we know it? It's the case in the culture. How we know it? Because Leah was older daughter. Rachel was the younger daughter. So that's why Laban, he also does exactly what the culture says. He said, okay, we will make it work. No matter what, I'm the father, I'm responsible. So I will make sure that the cultural norms are adhered to. So I will trick him to make sure that the cultural norms are in check. This is what I want you to keep in mind, because the following story will reveal it even more. The cultural norms need to be met, need to be kept, because what will they say? Culture is more important because the neighbors are watching. So then what happens here? So then that marriage is a grief to whom? To Rebecca. Yeah. Because Esau married two Hittite women. Okay, let's move to the next one. Genesis 27. Can somebody continue reading?
You breezed over that he married two women at the same time. That's.
Yeah, because he probably enjoyed the fact that he could marry two women, I guess.
Well, that explains
Is that there's no way he could continue the line promised through the covenant when he married outside the line. They were told not to marry heathen women. And there's no way that so the birthright, this just shows that he despised. the
Yeah,
birthright.
this is a good point, but the only concern with that, because you see, just because, remember, so when you look at the genealogy of Jesus, there are two Gentile women. Two Gentile women are in the genealogy, Tamar and Ruth. Both of those are Gentiles. So the birthright, it's okay, it can come from that, if it's expected, it could have been arranged. But there's something else with this, and we will see it, yes.
Rebecca doesn't like the Cushite woman.
No.
So she's gonna make sure that it's not passed on to Esau. But that the birthright goes with Jacob, because she does not like Esau.
Yeah, so this is, you see, she doesn't like this in the moon. We will see it in literally 5 minutes, we will see something even greater than this. Like basically what you say, but it's multiplied, it's just to support your point, So can somebody continue reading? Elmer, I think you need to do it. Yeah.
Sure, when Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak that he could no longer see, he called for Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. Now then, get your equipment, your quiver, your bow, and go out to the open country and hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to the hunt game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son, "Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esau, bring me some game, and I'll prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die. Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. Go out to the flock, bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies."
Wow.
Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say and go get them for me." And so he went and got them, brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on the younger son, Jacob. She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with goat skins. Then he handed to her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," he answered. "Who is it?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you have told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God gave me success," he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come near, so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not." Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy, like those of his brother Esau. So he proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. Then he said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went to him and kissed him, and when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field, that the Lord has blessed. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's riches and abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers. May the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. After Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, "My father, please sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing." His father Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" I'm your son," he answered, "your firstborn Esau." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud, bitter cry and said to his father, "Bless me, me too, my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, now he's taken my blessing." And he asked, "Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him lord over you. I have made all of his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." Then Esau wept aloud. His father answered him, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck." Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah was told what her older son had said, she sent for the younger son Jacob, said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Thou then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother's no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day?"
Okay, so just two things that I would like us to think about in this story. Remember the response when when Isaac once again asked him, "So why did you? How quickly? How you did it so quickly? How were you able to bring the game so fast?" What was the response?
Lord help us.
Why? What does it tell us? What do we do? How do we do it? Oh, the Lord had blessed me.
Justified.
We justify our deceitful actions by hiding behind God's back. Oh, the Lord has given this. After I walked over so many cats. Oh, the Lord has given it. So that is one very critical element. And then the second critical element is when we look, and we will uncover it actually now in verse 46. So this is the last statement. Then Rebekah said to Isaac. So you see, after she said, "Why should I lose both of you in one day?" You see, there's this huge deceit. And then, the next element, she says, then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am what? With living wine." Because of the Hittite women. Who are those two Hittite women? Esau's wives. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like this, my life will not be worth living at all. So then let's send them out. Let's send them out. So another element that I want us to very quickly think about is when we think about the action of Rebekah. So what do you think is happening? What motivates her? What motivates her to do what she does? What motivates her?
What God told her from the beginning,
So it's what? It's the,
the younger will serve the older.
no, this is good. So she is, what she does, she works to make sure that the prophecy is fulfilled. So this is, you see, by her means sometimes. Now, what motivates Isaac? What motivates Isaac? Did he know the prophecy? Sure he did. He did. But what motivates Isaac? The culture. And look, the blessing, if we read any blessing in the Abraham blessings, other blessings, even the blessings of Jacob in the following chapter, chapter 28, it's always done in public. All the blessings of the firstborn are always done in public. Is Isaac knows that who is supposed to be blessed? Who is supposed to be blessed according to God?
Jacob was born.
Jacob. But according to culture, who is supposed to be blessed? Esau. And how does Isaac do it? Does he do it in public? He's hiding. From who is he hiding? Either from God. Wow. So if you think about it, so blessing is always done in public. Remember when there is the two sons, and the one son comes, and the story, the parable of the prodigal son? The blessing happens to all, every time. It's a feast, and you will see it in the next chapter. When they will be sending off Jacob, it will be a feast for all. You go, and Esau will be present there as well. Esau will listen to this. When the following chapter talks to us about how, so this is what happens. And we need to go to chapter 28, verses 8 and 9. So Esau is present, Jacob is present, and Isaac says, Jacob, you will go to this land to marry there a woman from our own tribe. And then look what happens in Genesis chapter 28, verses 8 and 9. It says, Esau listened to everything that was stated, and he went to the brother of Isaac. Who is the brother of Isaac? Who is the brother of Isaac? Ishmael. He went to Ishmael and married the daughter of Ishmael to win the favor of his parents. Third wife, the daughter of Ishmael. I will go and win at least maybe somewhat to favor of parents, and I will go to Ishmael and say, okay, I want to marry, because then maybe the reconciliation will happen, perhaps, I don't know, or maybe he did. So do you see how strategizing, how much strategizing is happening? So all of that is to say that what we see in this story is just, so what we see finally, this is the catalyst for a Jewish nation. This is actually the catalyst for a Jewish nation to make it very clear. Women are the ones who are the priests of the family. We usually think about males as being the priests of the family, of course. But if it's not for women, there is no chance for families to sustain their life. So this is how critical it is. Okay? Finally, there is hope. Because remember the story in Genesis chapter 33, when we see Jacob being afraid that Esau will do what? What will Esau do? Esau will probably kill him now, because the father is dead now. So no more mourning. So the father is not an issue anymore. So now he will come and kill me. And then when Esau comes to Jacob and what does? And hugs him and kisses him, then look what happens. Verse 10, Genesis chapter 33, verse 10. No, please, said Jacob, if I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me. For to see your face is like seeing the face of God. Wow. Now that you have received big favor. So what we see now, we see just that there's hope in spite of our family dysfunctions.
That God intervenes.
And even if we die, even if we die with this bad heart and heart broken as parents, there is hope for our children to one day meet each other by this stream of what is it, Javok? What is this, the name of the stream? The stream, basically, by the stream, when they cross the stream, our children will hug each other and say, you know what? I see the face of God in you. And this is our hope. So now here is the final challenge. How ready are we to change our family dynamics and change our character to impact generations and nations? That's the challenge. Let's go and do it. Let's pray. Father, thank you again for this opportunity to open your scripture, to open your word, the love letter. And right now in this love letter, we read about this amazing story and sad story. But even in this story, we saw how you work through us, humans who deceive each other, who try to trick each other. But in spite of that, you make our way straight again. And this is what we are so thankful for, because we feel your presence and we feel your healing touch in our families and in the generations to come. And right now, we are especially praying about you helping us to make it right as much as we can, until the last breath in our lungs. In your name we pray. Amen.
Yeah.